I don't care who you are. I don't care how big of a badass you are, how many books you write, how many movies they make of you. It gets to you. It is in your head. I am a father and a husband first and foremost. That's who I am today. I'm always going to be a soldier. 20 years in the military. I was a Tier 1 operator. Worked in some really rough places. I was a shooter on a sniper team. It's that's that in itself, being in a Tier 1 group or being a police officer here in town or wherever, just that job alone sets you in a different area. You're a different person. And I say that only because if you're on scope and you're on gun and you're looking through that scope, you're actually looking at somebody take their last breath. That's it. You have a personal bond with that person for that second, and then it's over. At least for me, and I won't speak for everybody else, but for me, I could look through that scope and I could see somebody, and I knew what I was trained to do, and I knew what I was about to do, and to see them and pull the trigger, and maybe some people don't see them as people when they're, but I always did. I always knew that I was about to end a life. And then after my career in the military, I went on to work for two of the biggest military contracting companies in the world today, and went back overseas with them and protected ambassadors and dignitaries alike. So I did a little research on it, and I was thinking to myself, I do this right now. I do this right now. I've heard about this before. I've heard about it while I was in the military. I've heard about it when I was contracting. I've heard about this. And maybe I have applied it, maybe I've applied it wrong, or maybe I've been applying it but just not in the right way. So let's give Parrish the benefit of the doubt. I researched you. I went on. I saw the YouTube videos. I was like, heck yeah, let's. This is kind of crazy. Let's do this. Emotional intelligence, having that ability to, for lack of a better term, decipher information, to spread it out, to keep it from being jumbled up inside. If you have an overabundance of information coming in, just rapid fire, you have to be able to slow it down. The intake is one thing, but the consolidation is one thing, but the ability to sort is entirely different. To be able to consolidate is one, but being able to sort it and put it where it needs to go, it's entirely different. And I, from my job in the military and what I've had to do in the military, I've read some books, I've listened to some lectures, and started to kind of pull things from different areas. And I saw a class you were going to give, and I was like, let's try this out. Let's do this. Yeah, I'm at my best when conditions are at their worst. Hardship and misery are my companion. It's the Manchu Creed, and I think it's going to say things. That's going to mean something different to everybody. What it means to me, I'm at my best when conditions are at their worst, and I've said that over and over and over and over and over. Even have it tattooed on my body, that I'm at my best when conditions are at their worst. I've been in some bad places. I've been in some tight situations, and I've had to slow it down, man. I've had to tap the brakes. I've had to say, okay, you can do this. You just have to think through it. For every action, there's a reaction. Things are going to take the path of least resistance. That's with everything. It's just how it's going to be. And when things would get so bad that I was like, okay, this is it. This is where I check out. This is where I'm either going to die or something bad's going to happen to me. I've had to slow down. I've had to get inside my own head. I've had to walk around in there, and I've had to look for the information that's going to get me out of these positions. So those conditions were at their worst, and I had to find inside myself how to be the best John at that second. And if I'm the best John, there's nothing that's going to beat me. It's just that simple. I will not let you beat me. Chatter. Wow. There's there's a fine line, I believe anyway, that there's a fine line between the voices in your head and chatter. The voices in your head, the demons for some, and the chatter that you have in your head. You said something in the clinic that was you were performing the exercise on somebody else, but I put myself in that situation. You said tennis racket. First thing popped in my head was a tennis racket. That's my chatter. I'm thinking about a tennis racket. You said it. I'm thinking about it. Taking that to the next plateau, I've been in a situation where I'm getting an overabundance of information. One situation in particular, Sadr City, Iraq, 2008, the Mujahideen uprising of 2008, and I'm on a rooftop on a little combat outpost on the outside of Sadr City. I'm on a rooftop where we're engaging the enemy's engaging us. I'm an RTO at that time on our team, and I'm talking to several orbits of attack aviation. So I have 3 or 4 different pilots in my ear talking to me. I'm talking to a company commander that's underneath me in a talk on another radio. Then I have a radio hanging from my chest. And I have all of these things coming in, different things to process. Mind you, while we're being shot at and while I'm re-engaging targets as well. So I have to decipher what is important for me to talk about, what is important for me to listen. Where do I put what I need to listen to? What category is that? Is that important that I need to deal with that right this second, or can I put it over here? It's kind of what I saw in that course we were in, that you're going to get a shotgun blast of information. It's all going to be up there. It's all going to be jumbled around. You got to be able to pick it out, what you need to use, what is beneficial to you, what's going to hurt you, what's not going to hurt you. You have to be able to do that. And that was, when you started talking about chatter, it was like that light bulb, that proverbial light bulb that goes off in your head. Boom! I mean, it was so bright, it was blinding. That is what's going on. That's what it is. So, 86,400. A lot of that night, I was thinking about this, and I think I even talked to you about it. I was talking to my wife about chatter and whatnot. My wife's an ER nurse in the hospital, and she sees 1,000 different things a day, and the chatter in her head I can't even fathom. 86,400. I think that in itself, 86,400 is dealing with one day. But you said something that allowed me to kind of go a little bit farther than that. When you dream, that chatter's still going, man. It may be in a different form, it may be in a different context. Maybe your thoughts may be entirely different than what they were during your waking hours. But that chatter's still there, man. So I don't think that 86,400 is time enough. I don't think that that's an actual number. I think it just continues to go. I think it's an 8. I think it's a figure 8, that it is continuous looping movement is what I think it is. And I don't know if it's the course, or I don't know if it's because now I've been introduced to somebody who not only teaches this, does it well, and has given me the literature and the ability to say, okay, this is what you're doing. You've always been doing it. Let's just hone it and figure it out. But the chatter in my mind now it's all over the place. I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about how do I hone this better? Where's some literature it's everything. It's everywhere. I don't stop thinking about certain things. I was in the Army, like I said, for 20 years. I came in the early 90s, and I went 14 times overseas. There's not a day that goes by that a song won't play, or a phone call won't come in from me, or a text won't come in, that I won't think about Iraq, Afghanistan, Africa, South America, all these different places that I've gone and had to deal with things. I've always wondered what it was when Here Without You, that was a song. 2003, Here Without You by Three Doors Down. That was a song that was played relentlessly while we were overseas. It was like on that continuous loop. People were listening to this. It was the new song. So I heard it all the time while I was in Iraq. Well, 2003 was the invasion year. That was when, you know, there were boots on the ground and we were, you know, things were serious in 2003. They're serious all the time, but 2003 is when it was first kicking off. And I remember listening to that song over and over and over and over and over and over. Fast forward to 2015, and I'm driving down the road, and I have satellite radio. So I flipped to the 90 station, or you know, whatever station it was on satellite radio. And the first chord from Here Without You hit. I tasted Iraq. I was grabbing the steering wheel so hard that I looked at my knuckles, because you always hear white knuckle. I was white knuckling the steering wheel. And I had to get in my own head for a second and say, hey dude, you're on Jackson Street Extension. You're going to BJ's Pizza to get you a slice. Relax. So where does PTSD, because that's something that we have as veterans, where does PTSD start or end, and emotional intelligence start or end? Where is that at? What was I experiencing? Was I experiencing some type of emotional intelligence, or was I experiencing some type of PTSD moment? I don't know. You know, I don't know. I know that a thought from 10, 15 years ago, or 8 years ago, 10 years ago, popped in my head all of a sudden, and I was en route Irish in Iraq. But the thing was, I knew how to get out of it. And a lot of people don't know how to get out of that moment. And I just slowed down for a minute. I just thought about it. Dude, relax. You're right here. Get out of it. Take a deep breath. Find your chi, find your center for a second, you know, and continue mission. Go get you a slice. That's what I did.